Are you tired of long strings of lambda expressions in your Pandas queries? Well, I've got great news for you. Pandas 3 is about to be released, and it will allow us to greatly simplify our queries using something known as pd.col. And I want to show you how that works in this video. So first, let's look at it in the world of Pandas 2, the current stable release as of this recording. So I've got here a data frame with about 12 million rows in it. This is New York City parking violations in 2020 that I just loaded up. It's got 43 columns. That's quite a large or large-ish data set. And if we look at it here, df.head, we'll see all sorts of things about each of the cars that got a parking violation, the plate ID, the state, the plate type, the issue date, the violation code, all sorts of things like that. Well, how can I find out how many cars of each make got a ticket? Well, that's pretty easy, right? I can just say df, and I can say here, let's do vehicle make, and I'll say dot value counts. That's not particularly exciting or surprising, right? And it turns out Toyotas get a lot of them, then Hondas, then Fords, then Nissans, and so on and so forth. But what if I want to change this? How can I find out how many cars of each make got a ticket? But I'm only interested in cars from New York and Pennsylvania. Oh, well, that makes it a little more interesting. So how can I cut down on the rows? Because that's really what I want to do here. I want to select certain rows. And one easy way to do that is with .lock. But what do I do with .lock? And one simple way that we often talk about doing it is I say .lock, and I say, okay, well, df of plate, or I guess it would be registration state, dot is in, and then we can give a list here of New York and Pennsylvania. And there's nothing wrong with this per se, and this will indeed cut down on the states, and then it will choose the vehicle make, and then it'll get the vehicle counts. But what if I want something in addition to that? What if I'm only interested in cars that are black, that have a color black? Okay, well, I'll just add another dot lock line here, right? No, this will not work. Because if I say here vehicle color, suddenly I'm not running on df, I'm running on whatever I got back from line 7. So if I say here vehicle color equals black, at best it will give me the wrong information and take longer. At worst, it will give me an error because the indexes won't align. I don't want to be searching on df. I want to be searching on whatever I got from the previous line. And it turns out that .lock is totally fine with doing that if I provide it with a function. That's to say, if I say here def only black vehicles, and we say here df underscore, I'm going to call it that, and then I'll say here return df underscore of vehicle color equals black. Now, what's the difference here? The difference is I'm not actually actively running this query. The difference is that I'm passing it only black vehicles. I'm passing it a function, and that function will be run not on the original df, but on whatever I got back from row 11. And so, first of all, this is guaranteed to work. Second of all, it will not take extra time. And third of all, it will actually cut down on the time because it's not running the entire original data frame, it's just running on the one that I got back. And by the way, I can also say here, I can do that for the states, def only New York, Pennsylvania vehicles, df underscore, and then I say here return df of registration state is in, and we'll say here, once again, New York and Pennsylvania. And then here, instead of using .lock, I can say something like this. I can say here only New York, PA vehicles. Now, truth be told, it doesn't matter which of these I run in which order, except that it might matter in terms of speed. And one of the reasons to use this sort of chain of methods is I can then play around with which one I do first. And maybe one of them will significantly chop off enough rows that one of them will be fast and the other one will be slower. That's great, but this is kind of annoying and people don't actually do this. What they do is they use lambda expressions, and lambda allows me to write an anonymous function. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this here, and I'm going to say here lambda df, and then I just do that, and it automatically returns. There's no return value in a lambda, and I can say here lambda df of this, and we do this, and now I can get rid of these named functions, and this should give me exactly the same answer. That is great, except that many people have complained to me over the years when I teach them to use method chaining this way. What the heck is with all these lambdas? Why, when in Python in general we say we don't want to use lambdas, are we suddenly using dozens of them in a long query in pandas? And I can say it's nice and it's elegant and it's flexible, and it's all this and that, but it is a lot of text for us to do something relatively simple. So what is the solution, and what are we supposed to do now in Pandas 3? Well, watch this. In Pandas 3, I can indeed still use all these things that we've done before. It's not taking away anything. But if I go now into Pandas 3 and I've loaded this data frame up, and now I can say something a little different. Instead of saying lambda df blah, 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 I say pd.call. Notice it is a method we are running on pd, not on df. And I give it round parentheses instead of square brackets. And I can then say is in, or I can even say pd.call of vehicle color equals black. And I will get exactly the same response. So what's the difference? What is going on here? So it turns out that pd.call actually returns a callable. It returns a function. And that function will then run when .lock needs it. So in that way, we're sort of like papering over the fact that we're returning a lambda expression. But this is also so much nicer. I don't have the df underscore whatever variable you want to use. And it's very clear that I'm working on a column from within whatever data frame I got from the previous line. And we can use this in all sorts of different queries. Let's go back here to Pandas 2 for a moment. So let's take a look at one query that I might want to do. So I want to find out what streets are most commonly cited, or which streets are the locations for the most Kia, because I have a Kia, so I'll say this, Kia parking tickets where the person is greater than 0 feet from the curb. In other words, they're not right next to the curb. And boy, I used to get a lot of parking tickets like this. Like this when I lived in Boston. So I'll say df, and because I'm in Pandas 2, I'll say .lock, and I'll say lambda df underscore of feet from curb is going to be greater than 0. And I'm going to say .lock here of lambda df, and I'll say df underscore of vehicle make equals Kia. And it's all in uppercase there. And I can say street name. And then I can say here, .value count. So we'll find out what streets are Kias most likely to be cited on. And again, if I want to add another line here, I can do that, right? If I want to say here, once again, like vehicle color equals, I don't know, black. Let's just do that again. Right? I can just keep stacking up these lambdas and get all sorts of things. And now we see where people are getting their parking tickets if they have black Kias. What if I want to do this same thing here? Well, I can once again just more or less replace any of these lambdas with pd.call. Right? I put it there, and notice again it is round parentheses because I'm calling a method as opposed to square brackets that we're so used to using in this sort of situation. So pd.call of here, right? And this will work just fine, and I'll get exactly the same response, although there is a slight difference, as you'll see in just a moment. All right, and so I'm going to, oops, I'm going to do this here, right? And I should get back my response, and all is good. There we go. Okay, so wait a second though. Is this the only place that we can use pd.call? Absolutely, positively not. I want to know whether people get more citations, right, on even, at even numbered homes or odd numbered homes. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to say here df, and then just to get rid of any nan problems, I'm going to say drop na where the subset equals house number. In other words, if the house number is nan, get rid of it. I'm also going to say .lock lambda df underscore house number that stir is digit. I only want those where it only contains numbers, none of this number minus other number, apartment 1 or whatever. I know that those are legitimate addresses, but I'm just trying to make the analysis much easier. And then I want to find out, is it even or odd? Well, I'm going to want to find that out in a column. So I can create a new column. I can say .assign. And .assign is used all the time method chaining. .assign of, let's say, is even. And I can say here equals, and once again, it's a lambda. Lots of lambdas, right? df of house number. And I'll say here as type int. And then I'll say modulo 2 equals 0. If I do this, I now get, after a few seconds here, I get an is even column on my data frame. All the way at the end. Oops, scroll that way. Scroll all the way to the end. And you'll see is even, it's a Boolean because we get true or false. And then I can say on is even, let's just grab that, value counts. And I can even say normalize equals true. And if we do that, we will find out now once and for all, are you more likely to get a parking ticket in an even numbered house or an odd numbered one? And it's ever so slightly more on even ones, but it's like not worth worrying about. That should not be your primary consideration. Anyway, let's then take this and put it into Pandas 3 syntax. And how is that going to be different? Well, once again, any lambda can be replaced with pd.call. So I'll now say in my .lock, just like before, pd.call of house number, stir is digit, that works just fine. And even in the assign in the value, I can now get rid of the lambda and I can say pd.call of house number. And it's fine there as well. And it works just fine. So pd.call really helps to shrink down and simplify and just make sort of more aesthetically pleasing, easier to read, easier to write, our queries. There is a difference, however, and this is something worth considering. This latest query that I did took 6.5 seconds on this data set using pd.call. If we go back, we'll see that it's just under 5 seconds when we're using lambdas. If I go up to the previous one with feet from curb, we see it's just under 2 seconds. If I go back to Pandas 2, we see it is, here we go, 132 milliseconds. And if we go back here and we say, right, what about New York and black and so forth? 5.3 seconds. And here, if we go back, we see 4.21 seconds. I see in my experiments with pd.call a consistent, not massive, but a consistent slowness relative to using lambdas. So yes, pd.call is a great, interesting, nice, new, aesthetically pleasing, lambda reducing way of writing your queries. But there is a bit of a penalty, and that will come out in the speed. What do you think? Are you going to use pd.call? Do you use method chaining already? You should. Let me know what you think. Let me know what questions you have, and I'll be back real soon with lots more about Pandas 3, and in general, also stuff about Python and Pandas and everything in between. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.